The merchant is shocked, seeing Kong alive. "This guy is still alive," says the merchant subconsciously. Kong replies calmly, "So you were wishing I was dead?" The merchant replies, "No, I don't mean that." Kong presents the leather and meat of big rat that he killed earlier. He offers merchant where he buys these things and asks how much they're worth. The merchant is still shocked to the core. He asks did he caught it, and not tried to run away. With eyes open, Kong replies the point is he caught it, stop acting so surprised. The merchant analyzes the meat and finds that it's real and of best quality and perfectly caught. Since Kong has fulfilled merchant condition, as promised before, he agrees to open his store for Kong. Kong asks what are the items that he sells, to which merchant replies he sells almost everything. Kong asks for a tower shield. Merchant asks which one he needs. Kong answers, the big one so that he can carry it with both hands. Merchant adds, why would you need shield out of all other things I sell? Kong replies, to attack all at once. Merchant accepts the answer and decide to open the golden door. He pulls a big shield from door and asks if that was okay. Kong replies, it was more than I thought as it could be only acquired from 7th level. The price of shield is 500 gold but Kong had only 243 gold. Since it was not enough, he need to catch 7 more to but that. He simply turns around and start to walk. Merchant asks, where are you going? He replies, I need more gold to buy that. Merchant says, don't worry about it and gives him for free. Merchant says you can buy some other stuff with your gold, wait a bit. Kong is surprised, as it was unexpected scenario and unusual gesture from Merchant. Ken asks Merchant, why is he giving all these things? Merchant replies, it's an investment and tells him to make a choice. Most of item were liquid portion which increases offensive power, like increasing speed and so on. It's hard to get liquid portion on solo mode and utilization is very high, as liquid potions can pose a trap and he change his mind to buy a bow. He sells his leather and buys bow and arrow. The merchant blushes and smiles and give it within a second. Merchant says, it is impossible to recover stamina in labyrinth but there is a fountain, where you can recover stamina, as much you want as long as you are at first level. He gives Ken location and adds there is crazy oldie there but I am sure you will be fine. Lee Tae-yun also got the information regarding the fountain of life but he showed an attitude of contempt and reluctant as if she is going to starve if she goes there. He thought why the attitude has changed. He assumes killing Big Rat might be the reason for it. Spirituality raising skill gets activated and agility is increased permanently by 1. He also gets other skills that one can only get at 20th or 30th level at easy mode. A miracle-like power is added as he got spiritual increase skill. Whenever Ken find himself in problem he keeps moving forward. So this time he does the same. There should be the fountain after walking through the passage. But suddenly a big rat appears. He gets surrounded by them. It was an ambush. The big rats have surrounded him. Even the brains of those rats know that they have an advantage. However, the rat leaps towards Kong. He raises his shield and blocks it. He cannot be shaken, since he has witnessed countless players who met their demise due to variables. He unlocks the Unshakable Mind ability. All stats increase. He is able to catch up with the rat's reaction as he has acquired tough leveling up and successful judgment. So then, he eliminates the rat easily. He moves forward and reaches the sanctuary. Enemies such as wild monsters cannot enter this place. He is the first player to discover the fountain. First discovery bonus, intelligence increased by 1 permanently, and mana by 2 as well. This is the safe zone, aside from the shop, because no monsters can enter these places. He moves toward the fountain and drinks. All the wounds are healed, and stamina is also restored. The fountain water has put him in the best condition. It can heal the physical state but not the mental state. Yet, Kong needs to rest for a while. Next day, he checks the community post for new updates. All the articles were written by solo players, and all are about entering it and asking what types of monsters there are. It's been a day since the labyrinth opened. Full-scaled solo player entry will be in 1 month from now, so there should be many people alive right now. Solo mode has a reward system that is proportional to difficulty. Despite missing out on many rewards by defeating the boss through unfair methods, Lee Tae-yun is still the strongest player. Kong wonders how it will turn out. It's indeed tough here without enough information. He pulls out the rat's meat and eats it. However, it was raw, and his judgment failed, resulting in food poisoning. Due to it, Ken has been losing strength for 2 days. It's only with the help of a healing potion that he has managed to stand up, or else he could die. Food poisoning is a beginner's nightmare, so cooking skills are essential. It's too difficult to get food in the labyrinth. There is emergency food in the store, but it's very expensive. Eventually, There will be no option aside from eating creatures within this place. He gets food poisoning again. He gains strength again thanks to the fountain. Resistance against countless diseases has been obtained. Special passive skill, disease resistance. He goes into the water to increase his other skills. He dives into deep water, keeping moving forward despite the pain. Unlocks new skill, apnea. New special passive skill activated, line of death. An active skill to increase respiration and provide a significant amount of air when needed in emergencies. It's extremely rare to get those skills at once, so it's not a bad result. The proficiency is already at 54%. He wonders if those skills can be inherited. Is power imprinted on the mind rather than the body? However, other skills like cold-blooded or insight have only 1% proficiency. Incomprehensible things happen here. One cannot stand if he keeps thinking about death. He keeps working to acquire more skills. Kong Jun asks, is this the right way? Kong Taesin replies, high risk, high return. Now is the time to do it. Since Kong Jun is not sure what to do, Kong adds, follow whatever your mind tells you, but you're going to regret it. Ken unlocks non-breathing and activates it. There exist different types of skills, some are single individual skills, and some are combination skills. It means that when a certain skill meets a certain condition, it motivates the evolution of a few skills. In the non-breathing condition, it's only to a certain extent, like holding your breath while doing things. Special activation skill, 1 breath attack. Ken has acquired more than 10 skills. He acquires the skill player. Kong realizes that humans also have their own tempo that they follow before acting, similar to the rats he encountered earlier. Non-breathing attacks help that tempo to be more swift and easy to change. It was the skill that Ken often used before going out of the labyrinth. He checks his level and gets shocked. Litae's agility was 13 when she passed the first level, and currently, Ken's agility level is 21. He is far more agile. Tries to create a main skill. A main skill is usually a skill with higher values than 10 skills combined together. Plus, it also gives him the capability to improve the lacking parts in the stats. For example, it can multiply or add offensive power, help identify hidden elements, prevent attacks, or stop time, etc. Due to its powerful capability, there are some conditions and requirements that are picky. For example, the skill Full Recon needs 2 or 3 evolutions of the Spy skill, but it's possible to create a main skill on the first level. A big rat appears and starts attacking Ken, dealing some damages. He lets it attack him and says, let it have some fun. The rat keeps dealing damage until it reaches the empty phase and is in danger of dying. He kills it. Mastery of death increased by 3 and calmness by 2. A few more rats attack him but meet the same fate. Skill Holding On. With this skill, one can negate lethal damage once and remove all damage for a period of time. The only person who can get benefit from this is Ken. There are specific ways to acquire any skill. Either you earn it from someone, complete the task that others failed to acquire, or by doing an action that mimics the effects. He got the non-breathing skill by holding his breath and using his sword in that situation, resulting in the acquisition of the non-breathing attack skill. He wants to obtain a skill that eliminates deathly attacks. It's simple, you just need to block deathly attacks continuously. Since you know you've got a skill that saves your life, fear should not be an excuse. If we don't take risks, we won't gain anything. He checks whether he could further keep acquiring skills or not. There were 200 in total. Suddenly, a man appeared, the same individual who had been searching for God. Since no monsters can enter the fountain, he must be an NPC, Ken assumes. The man asks if he is an adventurer by any chance, one of the people who venture into the labyrinth for the sole purpose of conquest. Ken remembers Lee referring to an old man she encountered at the fountain. She also adds that he was some kind of knight who served God. The man rushes and attacks Ken, yelling, "Now block this," and attacks with his fist. The line of death has been triggered. Consequently, Kong blocks the punch with his shield. The impact he feels is tremendous. Following this, a new skill is unlocked, and his power increases by 1. In a fraction of a second, Kong spots another punch approaching him. Realizing the power and skill difference between him and the man, he knows he can't avoid the punch. The punch is so strong that Kong ends up flying and crashing into a wall. While it would have caused 100,000 damage, his defense reduces it to 30,000. Kong is shocked by the old man's power. Furthermore, he realizes that not only monsters, gatekeepers, and other solo players are absolute monsters in terms of power. Impressed by Kang's skill, the old man praises him, mentioning that he was worried about Kang's abilities. Kong, determined, replies, "I can't just get beaten up by you." The old man adds, I didn't want to kill you, so it was not a lethal attack. He continues by saying, you have the ability to endure the attack even if I attacked you seriously, so there should be no problem. He commends Kang's skill when stepping into the line of death, calling it incredible. That was actually a good skill. To be honest, I was worried you were weak, but you are actually good. You have overflowing passing skill. The old man asks, what's your name? Kang replies, Kang Tae-san. The old man says, it's an honor to meet you. I am the one who seeks God, they call me Einsar. Lee Tae was looked down upon by this man. Puzzled, Kang asks, why are you attacking me suddenly? Are you a bully? The old man replies, I may be a holy knight, but I don't bully anyone. He adds, I attack people to evaluate them, to see if they can survive and if I should acknowledge them. He continues, Kang, you have passed the evaluation. Curious, Kang asks, what kind of god are you looking for? Intriguingly, there are many gods in the labyrinth. Various gods test the players and grant them wishes. However, since gods only exist in solo mode, most were not interested. But soon, Lee discovered how terrible gods were. The old man replies, the more people know about our gods, the better. He explains, the god I serve is the god of love, called Lebaninov. She is very kind and used to bond with those in love. Sadly, there was no goddess loved more than her, but that world was destroyed, and I am the only one who still remembers her. Kang asks, did you come here to find her? The old man replies, yes. Lee has mentioned her to Kang. Furthermore, she was badly injured and devastated when Lee found her. Kang ponders, should I tell the truth or let it be for now? The old man inquires, do you have to hurry down this place? Kang responds, no, not really. My purpose is not to clear it but to become the strongest. Seizing the opportunity, the old man offers to teach him Lebaninov's skill. Kang accepts it and asks, what's the price? Curious, Kang asks, is this an apology? The old man replies, not exactly, but I offer it because you deserve it and thought you would need it in the future. Realizing that obtaining a new skill with one attack is much easier than risking his life for a single skill, the old man says, that's a relief, I almost made myself an enemy of God. Let's get started, the old man says, hit me with your shield now. In the labyrinth, there are numerous skills, but the basic ones can be acquired effortlessly with a single motion. For example, if you wield a sword, you gain swordsmanship, if you use a shield, you acquire shield proficiency, and if you opt for a spear, you obtain spear mastery. The moment you wield these weapons, you gain the respective basic skill. The higher your proficiency, the greater your knowledge and utilization of the weapon. Virtually all players possess these basic skills. Then, there's a skill that amalgamates all these basic skills. While it may not sound flashy, it's arguably the best. An old man referred to it as the Iraq weapon art, and even the goddess personally praised me for it. This is the skill I'm going to teach you. Kang took a deep breath but underestimated its value. The old man asked, do you think it's useless? Kang replied, yes, because nothing changes when skills are combined. It might be different if it were a primary skill, but due to a system error, combining weapon-based skills seems meaningless. The old man then asked, how much bonus attack power do you have? Kang replied, just one. The old man smiled and said, how cute. You should have 4 in total. Kang added, I have my basic attack power, so that should be right. The old man underestimated and said, attack me with all your might. The old man, with his hand on his head, complained, did you really have to hit me in the head? Kang replied, my bad, LOL. He then instructed Kang to hit with his fist, resulting in 2 damage. The old man asked, do you get my point? Kang inquired, so, what you're saying is that damage dealt varies according to the weapon. The old man replied, yes, that's why adventurers use weapons. If you wear a gallant with 50 attack power and a sword with 20 at the same time. If you attack with a sword, you'll deal 20 damage, whereas with gallant, you can deal 50. There's no way you can deal the combined damage of 70. Kang remarked, isn't it obvious? If it's like that, why wouldn't everyone carry multiple weapons? The old man explained, that's why we only focus on one primary weapon to improve its proficiency. Isn't it inconvenient to use only one weapon in battle? That's just absurd. In a battle, your life is on the line, and you should use every part of your body. Kang asked, but when that happens, due to the system error, you end up dealing low damage, right? The old man confirmed, yes, but our church, which serves the goddess Lebaninov, doesn't like that. My body is my weapon, and my weapon is my body. After years of research, I finally developed the Iraq weapon art. Not only does it allow you to combine basic skills, but it also combines the total attack power of your equipment. Kong was shocked. The old man continued, in other words, if you have a sword with 20 attack and gallant with 50 attack power, you'll deal 70 damage no matter where or what you hit. Kong asked, what about the range of application? The old man explained, it doesn't just apply to weapons but to all parts of your body, whether you hit with your hand, bump with your shoulder, or kick. Doesn't this mean that your whole body becomes your weapon? With this art, you can use all the equipment that was previously considered useless. It might not seem like much, but as you progress through the labyrinth and obtain higher grade equipment, Kong realized the tremendous potential of this skill. It can even be considered a primary skill, the old man stated. I understand how patient you are, but this is something an ordinary adventurer can't acquire even if they work their whole life. Are you interested? The old man asked. Kong replied, yes, of course. The old man instructed Kong to relax his body. Like other skills, this one was created by himself, making it easy to pass down. With his proficiency at 100%, Kong could receive it without any issues. The basic skill was now combined with the Iraq weapon art. Basic skill, swordsmanship combined with Iraq weapon art. Kong felt various techniques and information rushing into his brain. He had never thought he could acquire a skill this easily. You received the skill from the creator of the Iraq weapon art. You have acquired the highest level skill, Iraq weapon art. Highest level skill, Iraq weapon art. Proficiency, 1%. It was a skill that dealt with both weapons and the body. It can even be considered a main skill. It deals with both weapons and the body. It is still in an immature state, and there's likely to be a loss in the transmission of power. The old man gives Kong a ring and tells him to train every day for better results. Faded ring. Attack power +1. It looks like it's worth a lot and has been worn for a long time. Kong says with gratitude, it's more than enough. In the past, I would have discarded it, but it's worth much more now. The old man says, I have given you everything I could. But since you can't go to the 3rd floor right now, it's much of the same path. Wanna try sparring with me and test your skills? Kong accepts. They start sparring. In the labyrinth, all actions are evaluated. If you look carefully at any seemingly useless room and find something, your direction proficiency increases. If you constantly block attacks, your shield proficiency increases. That's why fighting against the strong is meaningful in itself. Kong, did we fight for 2 whole days? Passive skill, continuous battle. Proficiency, 3%. A battle can last a long time, and you won't get tired easily. Thanks to this skill, Kong could fight an S-class monster for 2 days. He had given up on solo mode because he could only acquire this skill by fighting other players. The old man commends Kong, for a 1st floor player, you possess unbelievable skill and sense. As I expected, my eyes don't deceive me. The old man continues, then promise me 2 things. Since you have learned Iraq weapon art, you can teach it to anyone, but if they are worthless, then never teach them. If you violate this, then I'll find and deal with you myself. The second one is, if you discover anything about Goddess Lebenovov, let me know. But I doubt we can meet each other again. The old man says, I'm not expecting it either, but let's hope for a miracle. For Einzar to succeed in finding the goddess, either she would not have died, or she would have died with Einzar. In other words, unless a big variable occurs, Lebenovov must be killed by someone before he finds her. Kong can't decide whether to tell him about the goddess or not, yet he asks, do you want to know the location of the goddess? The old man replies, yes. Kong says, I know where she is.